Hello everyone, my name is Jamin. Thanks so much for visiting my channel. In this video, I have a ThinkPad T460s. I'm going to take you on a teardown and upgrade options tour. I'm going to show you how to get inside the computer and how to access and upgrade many of its internal components. So first thing, power down your computer, make sure that it's off and unplugged from your charger. We're then going to flip your computer over to access the bottom case screws. You'll see the screws that need to be removed near the red arrows. After removing those screws, you'll take a small, flat pry tool. It's generally best to start out back near one of the two hinge assemblies in the corners. Pry the bottom case up from the computer, work your way down the sides towards the front. Now, don't put your pry tool too far in. You could damage some internal components. Just keep it on the edge, go nice and slow but firm, and you'll be able to get that bottom case off. After you do, this is what you're looking at for the inside of your computer. Now, as a general computer repair side note, whenever I'm working on a computer in my shop, it's sitting on an anti-static mat. Either that or an anti-static bracelet are great ideas to avoid damaging anything in your computer when you're working on it. If you would like any help with tools or supplies for your computer project, as well as any of the replacement and upgrade parts for this specific model computer, I will have a link above, also below in the description, and it will be a list of all the tools and supplies as well as the replacement and upgrade parts for this computer. Now, before touching anything in a computer, it's always best to unplug your battery first. Computers are safer to work on when as little power as possible is running through them. The battery on the bottom, the longer one, is an 11.25 volt battery, 24 watt hour. The smaller battery on top is an 11.4 volt, 26 watt hour battery. I will have all that information and the individual part numbers for those two batteries. I will have that below in the description for your reference, but I will also include both replacement batteries in that link I told you about with all of the tools and supplies and replacement parts for this model computer. To remove the battery, you'll have to take out the screws near the red arrows. The battery plugs into the motherboard near the blue arrow. Now, this kind of battery has to be physically removed to unplug it from the motherboard. After removing the screws, you will peel down the black tape, start from the top of it, peel it down towards the battery, and then you can lift the battery up and unplug it from the motherboard. To remove the top battery, you would again have to unplug the screws near the red arrows. This time you would peel the tape back from the bottom and you would peel it up towards the battery. After that, you can lift the battery up, unplugging it from the motherboard. One thing to mention about this operation, if you are here because your computer is not turning on, it could be a bad battery. You may have to replace it, but keep in mind that most laptops should still turn on and work with a bad battery as long as the charger is plugged in and working. So if your computer is not turning on, there could be something else wrong other than just a bad battery. If you would like help troubleshooting your issue, I will have a video tutorial link above, also below in the description, and that will be the full troubleshooting process I use in my shop to find out why a laptop's not turning on and how to fix it. As far as memory, this computer has a single RAM slot noted near the blue arrow. This computer takes DDR4 2133 MHz RAM. I will have all that information below in the description for your reference, but I will also include several replacement and upgrade options for you in that list I told you about with the tools and supplies and parts for this model computer. Because many of you will have an 8 GB stick that comes with your computer, I will have an 8 GB replacement option for you. In case it goes bad, you want to replace it but not spend more than you have to. I will also include a 16 GB stick and a 32 GB stick for those of you that want to upgrade your speed and your performance. The way to operate RAM, you see two spring-loaded metal arms on either side of the RAM stick near the red arrows. The way to get the RAM out is you would gently pry those apart from each other, away from the RAM stick. The RAM will then release. It'll often pop up a little bit, and then you can pull it out of that port. To get the RAM stick back in, if you'll notice near the blue arrows, there's a long section to the plug and a short section. So you can only get the RAM stick in one way. You can't put it in upside down. Once you get it in, get it nice and lined up and flush. Make sure the gold section near the green arrow, make sure that's nice and even along the length of the port. Once it is, you just press down on the RAM stick and the metal arms will latch onto it and hold it in place. For storage, this computer has a single M.2 PCIe NVMe port. It takes size 2280 solid-state drives Gen 3. I will have all that information below in the description for your reference, but I will also have several upgrade and replacement options in that list I told you about with all of the tools and supplies and parts for this computer. I did want to point out that if you have trouble finding Gen 3 solid-state drives, these are backwards compatible, which means you can use a Gen 4 solid-state drive, which may be easier to find and in some cases may even be cheaper. It will work in this computer, it'll just run at Gen 3 speeds. So in that list I mentioned, I will have a 500 gigabyte drive if you just want to replace one and spend as little as possible, but I will also have an upgrade 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte drive if you want to really give yourself some more storage. Unfortunately, there is no secondary storage slot in this computer, so I will have a couple different external drives for you if you want some larger bulk long-term storage. The way to operate the solid-state drive is to remove that single screw on the end in the middle. The solid-state drive will then release and you can pull it out of that port. Also, keep in mind, if you are installing a new drive onto this computer, you may need to install an operating system onto it afterwards. I will have video tutorial links below in the description showing you how to do that. Also, be aware that if you're replacing a drive that has gone bad, it's usually possible to recover data even from those bad drives. I will have more information about that below in the description as well. As you can see here, you gain access to the CMOS battery after removing the main laptop battery. The CMOS battery is noted by the red arrow and it plugs into the motherboard by the blue arrow. Now this battery is wrapped in tape and it's stuck down to the computer with double-sided tape. So if you're here to replace it, you can very easily just pull that off, pop that right off of the computer. If you're here to reset BIOS with this method, you can leave the actual battery down. There's no need to take it up. All you would need to do is unplug it from the motherboard. Now that's a small, fragile wire. Don't just yank on the wire, you could damage it. Try to use your fingernails or a pry tool to wiggle the plug out of the port, and leaving it unplugged for about 15-20 seconds should be sufficient to reset BIOS. Now, as a side note, this operation in most cases will only reset your BIOS system settings and not your BIOS password. For more BIOS password reset information, look below in the description. Also, this operation is a common troubleshooting step when your computer is not turning on. If that's why you're here, I will have a tutorial video link below in the description, also above in the video, and that will be the full troubleshooting video I use in my shop to find out why a laptop's not turning on and how to fix it if you need help with that. This computer has 2 speakers noted by the red arrows. They are screwed down, so to get them up, you do need to remove the screws holding them down to the computer. They are connected to each other by a wire noted by the blue arrow, and they plug into the motherboard by the green arrow. Speaker wires are very small, very fragile, and they can get damaged if you pull on them too hard or incorrectly. So try just using your fingernails or a pry tool to wiggle that plug out of the port and pull on the wire as little as possible. I will try to have speaker replacements for you below in that link I told you about with all of the tools and supplies and replacement parts for this computer. One thing to be cautious of, if you are replacing these speakers, make sure you run the wire near the blue arrow exactly as it's supposed to be. If you don't, it could pinch when you go to shut the computer up and get damaged. It may even be worth taking a picture with your phone to use for reference later when you're laying that wire down. The Wi-Fi card is noted near the red arrow, and it's held down by a single screw noted by the blue arrow. I will have all the Wi-Fi card specifications below in the description for your reference, but I will try to have a Wi-Fi replacement card in that list I told you about with all of the tools and supplies and upgrade parts for this model computer. To remove the Wi-Fi card, after taking that screw out, you're left with the antenna wire. Those are just snaps, so you pull those directly up and off of the Wi-Fi card to snap them off. However, they do need to be at a perfect 90-degree angle to snap back on, and you are strong enough to damage them if they're not at the right angle and you try to force it. So it could be a little bit of a pain in the butt. Just go slow, be patient, and you will be able to snap those back on. I did want to quickly add too that if you cannot access your internet options, if you cannot see the Wi-Fi network options, that's probably not a Wi-Fi card issue. That's probably a system driver issue. I will have a video tutorial link above, also below in the description, and that will show you how to remedy that situation if that's why you're here. This computer has a single fan noted by the red arrow, is connected to a heatsink that goes over your CPU noted by the blue arrow, and plugs into the motherboard by the green arrow. If you're here to simply replace a fan, be careful when taking it up. The fan wires are exceptionally fragile. Be sure to not pull on those wires more than you have to. Just try to manipulate the plug, if at all possible, with your fingernails or a pry tool or even a small pair of pliers. If you're here to clean out your computer, maybe you're experiencing overheating issues, you will be able to blow out or vacuum out that fan once you get it up. I will have a nice vacuum blower option below in the description in that link I told you about with all of the tools and supplies and replacement parts. I will also try to have a replacement fan option in there as well. For those of you that are having overheating issues, or maybe you're just doing preventative maintenance, after taking the 4 screws up by the CPU near the blue arrow, you are going to want to clean off all the old thermal paste before reapplying your new thermal paste. You don't want to put new paste on top of old paste. It won't work very well. If you need help with any of this operation, I will have a video tutorial link below in the description. Also, I'll put it above in the video. It will show you how to fix an overheating laptop. And one of the things it will show is how to clean off all the old paste from both the CPU and the heatsink. And then it will show how to apply the correct amount of new thermal paste. If you put too much down, obviously it won't work, but if you put too much, it ends up locking heat in rather than facilitating its transport out. So again, that video will be available if you need it. One more thing to shout out about thermal paste, they're not all created equal. Generally speaking, the cheaper stuff will do a good job, but a little more expensive stuff will do a better job. I will try to have 2 different thermal pastes in that list for you to choose from. But that's the end of the video. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, check out the FAQs below in the description. It could save you some time getting an answer. If you do need to leave me a question or comment, please feel free. I do try to get to those a couple times a day at least. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I look forward to seeing you on my next video.